Do I want to burn all live music to the ground? Maybe. Hi, I'm Anusha. I'm a singer, songwriter, overall musician, social media person, and a bitch now. So yeah, why did my phone just notify me saying that England won a match? Okay, I don't care. So apparently I want to burn all live music. Cool, that's fine. There was a conversation online and I'm going to bring it here because it's a rant on community and the idea of it and how it's a little bit of a farce. So I want to talk about the idea that live music shouldn't be a thing because we are in the pre-stages of bird flu and COVID is just never leaving, tuberculosis, measles, whooping cough, strep A. The comment that was made online was a lot of people were getting a little bit worried because they're like, well, okay, we agree that COVID safer shows aren't the be all and end all, but like if we get rid of those, what will happen to live music? To that I say, think bigger. Like, I'm sorry. There are so many ways that we can access spaces in venues that doesn't have to be a bar show. Like, I've suggested it many times. A drive-in would be cool. I'm not saying it's perfect because people might need to pee and then that's going to cause issues. But like, there are so many ideas. And here's the thing. Why is the only valid talking point music performances in venues? And I'm going to tell you why very quickly. It's because a lot of performances in venues create a dichotomy. They create a divide. It's the people that can afford the show and can understand and access and appreciate live music, and the other. And then people like to make straw man arguments like, what about the children? What about the whatever? And to that I say, the same shit still applies, because unless you want a lot of maimed kids, then I suggest you shut up. But what's really unfortunate is that a lot of people are just relying on performances in venues. And those of us who are housebound or bedbound are like, wow, you really want us dead, don't you? You really don't care, as long as you can access joy. And it's unfortunate because like I feel like I have to keep almost like defending my honour, because I'm like, I know what I do is valid. Because a lot of these conversations, to me, it makes me feel like the art that I make is like, well, I don't give a shit about your art. And to be honest, I know people don't. I see who retweets and who doesn't, what they react to. I see what they don't react to. I know you don't see my art as valid. You tell me with your actions. And I'm making this video because a lot of people keep talking about, well, it's just the music community, it's just how the music works. No, you're talking about the music industry. You're talking about an industry that is born to exploit. And again, I keep going back to the right to main, but it talks about how in order to have like a disabled normal, I can do what you do. I can access public spaces. You have to have an other. In order for someone to access a public space, it exploits another person. Unfortunately, that's sort of what's happening with this COVID safe space, these COVID safer shows. You're creating another other. When you don't put as much energy into virtual shows and show people the respect that they deserve and the duty of care, you're creating an other. What sort of fucking community is that? It's not a community, it's a clique. And that's the unfortunate thing about capitalism and the force of the neoliberal queer disabled person, is you create an other. There's a bunch of people who cannot access these shows. There's a bunch of people who the idea of even stepping into a venue is a no-go. So it makes us feel expendable. A whole group of people. That is not a community. I need to read that Sylvia Plath. I've read Sylvia Plath. Sylvia Winter. Because she talks about the black body and black death and stuff. And I need to understand it, because I think I get it, but I'm not 100% sure. But my point being is that I think a lot of people see, it's not necessarily value, but it's easier to perpetuate a message onto someone who's already passed away. So a lot of people sort of just wait it out until someone eventually perishes from their disability, from poverty. And they're like, oh, wow, this is why we should have COVID protections and blah, blah, blah. But why couldn't they have that sort of care when they were alive? The reason why I'm kind of bringing that up is that there's a lot of people who don't really see value in the ugly sides of disability. They just see it as something you push through, and they're neoliberal. I can be like you, like normal. And they don't imagine bigger, imagine better. And a lot of people think there's a concept of like, oh, imagine better over there. No, we can imagine better now. And I will give you an example. Me. I changed my whole shtick. I have business plans like from 2019. Well, I was about to be in these streets performing, pushing my music, my non-existent music, pushing myself, writing, networking. I changed my whole shtick. I have been performing for 14 years and I changed my whole shtick because I did not want to maim my community. I did not want to maim my comrades. I respect you lot too much. I think it's unfortunate because a lot of people, in order to survive this, we have to give something up. And they don't recognise that because their comforts right now are what they think is needed to survive. But the difference is that someone like me, I changed my whole shtick so that people with severe ME, you know, people who've had it even, again, pre-COVID, I want them to experience joy. I want people with long COVID to experience joy in whatever capacity they can. I don't always get it right. I'm trying out new things. Captioning's really fucking hard, guys. I am trying. But it's the fact that, like, I'm trying. I see value in the other. And I think what community means to me is duty of care. Not everybody that I perform to is in my community per se. But what I will say is that I aim to protect my community and I aim to serve people who, again, are considered other. That is my duty to you. Because as an artist, I have a duty of care. Doesn't like to be said, Lady Gaga, but I have a duty of care to you. That is what I mean when I say I want to cultivate community. It means that I care about you enough that I want to bring you into my circle and I want to create with you. I want to share my resources with you. That's kind of all I got to say because, again, the computer's running out of memory and I just wanted to create a little diss vlog because, look, a lot of artists have told me directly that they're just in it for shits and giggles and vibes. And that's okay. But that's nothing to do with me.